Thank you so much for coming today. Can everyone hear me okay? Sounds like it. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. We had almost 250 people register for this tonight. So I'm really, really excited that so many people are excited. And so I'm not going to delay. This is going to be recorded. So people who come in later on will be able to kind of see the beginning if they want to. So I'm going to share my screen here. So first of all, thank you for coming. I know everybody's super busy, but this has been nearly 2 years, a little over 2 years actually in the making, and I'm really excited to share it with you. I'm the host. Peter's also here with us. He's part of our team. He's the head of our community outreach and the head of our marketing right now. So if you have any problems, technically, he can help you. He can also answer any other questions that you might have. Okay, so who am I and why am I doing this? For those of you who don't know, I'm Dr. Leah Houston. I'm an emergency doctor. I trained in upstate New York at Albany Med, and I practiced across the United States for nearly 10 years. And like you, I experienced all the friction, all the administrative burden, not only of credentialing, but of EHR. And this isn't what I expected. When I went into medical school, this is not what I expected. And it's not only us that are suffering, but our patients are suffering. And I know people who are practicing medicine in the audience or people who are caregivers or patients themselves understand that all too well, unfortunately. And so I had learned about blockchain and cryptocurrency back in 2012. And I learned about every single potential blockchain healthcare application because I was curious. I read every single white paper in the blockchain healthcare space. I also learned about decentralized identity and how it can be used for voting. Fast forward to 2017, and a hospital actually stole my identity. They were using my Medicare, Medicaid PTAN numbers, my provider numbers, they call them, to bill on patient charts of patients I never saw. It was actually a nurse practitioner seeing the patient, and there was some administrator or billing person that was putting my name there because they can make more money off of a physician seeing patients, and that was a misappropriation of my identity. And so when that happened, I realized that decentralized identity could have been used to prevent what happened to me and could also be leveraged to solve a lot of the problems that we have. And so we founded the company in 2019, and I'm really excited to share what we've done since then. And so here's just some of the things that I'm talking about. The third-party influence over the practice of medicine, over what we do, the sacred art that we do with our patients, healing people from death and permanent disability. There's friction-filled manual processes throughout. And, the thing is, before the internet, before digital solutions, before EHRs, we had paper. And what they've done is they've kind of created this cob job approach of trying to make our paper world digital. And in the process, they've just created a huge mess. And unfortunately, third parties have really influenced how that's been built. And nothing has been built with us or our patients in mind. So everything's manual, it's friction filled, heavily influenced by insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies, private equity-backed, large vertically integrated health systems make decisions based on how much money we can generate rather than on patient care and safety. And they're also now monitoring and surveilling what we're doing and the data that we generate for our patients. And so many independent practices have fallen away. Physicians are performing tons of uncompensated paperwork, forced to sometimes do harmful protocols that aren't really best for patient care, less time with patients. Patients are frustrated. They're starting to not trust their doctors, which is really sad, scary, and dangerous. And I believe it's our duty and our responsibility to fix this. And that's what this is about. And so, one thing that's going on in the physician community that many of us know all too well is that not only are we burning out, but there's many of our colleagues that are dying by suicide. This is so bad that physicians are choosing to kill themselves rather than to keep doing this. And so we're at a real crisis point right now, and we really need to act. And so we have this new solution that can create a democratic physician-owned forum, a way for us to communicate with each other and with our patients. And right now, there's nothing like it out there. It doesn't exist. There's the old centralized groups that are sometimes also influenced by those third parties. But I just want to share with you a little bit more about what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we're going to be solving a lot of these problems. So, as mentioned, in general, even outside of healthcare, Third parties are controlling our digital interactions. We have large tech companies, social networks that control our right to communicate with our family and our friends. They're monitoring and surveilling our behavior. They change the algorithms and decide what we see and what we don't see, what we click and what we don't click. In the healthcare industry, it's not quite as strategic, but they are monitoring us. There's third-party surveillance over the EHR system. They're selling our data and our patients' data without our knowledge and consent. And they've designed the systems to not be user-centric, to not be physician-patient-centric. They're really just designed to be billing and coding machines. And these outdated systems, unfortunately, are also very susceptible to hackers. Because they're centralized, because all the data is there in one central place, they're vulnerable to attacks. And so there's a lot of pressure now to upgrade these systems into new systems that are more user-centric, more privacy preserving. And decentralized identity actually solves this problem because decentralized identity allows you to be the owner and the controller of your login and of your information, the data that it generates. And so what is decentralized identity? Decentralized identity is a standards-based solution that's developed by the World Wide Web Consortium and the Decentralized Identity Foundation that allows secure, direct communication between two individual entities. So the same people that build the standards around email that allows somebody who has an email account from one server like Gmail to an email account like in a private company to an email account in like Yahoo, although these are different companies, that email protocol allows them to talk to each other, but that data is still siloed. Decentralized identity in a similar way allows these entities to communicate, but rather than being owned by the entities, it's owned by the individual to whom that decentralized identifier belongs. And so there's three pillars of decentralized identity. You have the decentralized identifier that allows you to be who you are and identifies you as an individual. There's the verifiable credentials that are essentially authentic data about you as a person who holds this decentralized identity. And so as physicians, we have our medical credentials that could become those verifiable credentials. And then the third thing is a blockchain that's needed. And the reason a blockchain is needed is if you are the entity that owns and controls your information, where's the source of truth? How is somebody going to trust you? And blockchain is essentially a truth machine. It allows others outside of yourself to verify that the data that you're sharing or generating or transacting with is actually real. And you can look into blockchain technology. I've explained what it is on a few podcasts, but it is the secret sauce that makes this all possible. And so, HPEC allows for privacy, security, truth, and trust. And so, with HPEC, you are the one who owns your identity and the data that provides independence, security, privacy. And our solution specifically also creates an opportunity for physicians to communicate and collaborate amongst each other. And so that last piece is something that's very unique about the HPEC system because we essentially create what's called a decentralized autonomous organization of practicing physicians with this, where each individual in the network has inclusive stakeholding and an inclusive decision-making power, which is different than anything else out there, all powered by decentralized identity. And so you're probably wondering, wait a second, this sounds very technical. I don't know what she's talking about. So let's bring it back to the actual problem that we're solving first, which is the credentialing problem for doctors. If you think about it, our credentials are the most valuable thing that we owned. It took us 10 years, 18 years for some of us, hundreds of thousands of dollars to become doctors. And now we have this piece of paper and it's the most valuable thing that we have. And the current process is an issuing body gives you a credential, a medical degree, a license, a residency certificate, and then you go get a job or you try to, credential for an insurance company and you show the credential and they say, okay, yeah, that's nice, but we need to check and actually make sure that that's real. And so they go back to the issuing institution and they say, is this real? And the institution says yes. And they verify the credential. And this sounds very simple, but we all know as physicians in the audience that this takes 4 to 6 months and can cost $5 billion a year on average. And this is also time that we're not compensated for. So this is money that we could be making if we were able to be working during that time. And also institutions lose over $1 million in potential revenue per credentialing event. So this is a friction-filled process for all parties. And so how do we change this with this new technology? So we're not changing any process aside from adding this layer of decentralized identity and verifiable credentials. So we still have the issuing institution. They still issue that paper credential, and the paper credentials will probably be around for a while. But at the same time, they also issue a digital credential. And when they issue that digital credential into your wallet as a doctor, they also write proof that transaction occurred onto a decentralized data registry or a blockchain. Now, when you are credentialing for that, that job or that insurance system, you present the credential along with the digital credential, and they're instantaneously able to check the blockchain and make sure that the credential is real. And so this saves all of that time, friction, waste, and redundancy. And so we have, as a company, HPEC, which is the Decentralized Identity Wallet, and we also have Evercred, which is a credential issuing system. Both are interoperable with each other based on decentralized identity standards, but they also have the ability to interact with any other decentralized system. So with your HPEC wallet, if you want to receive credentials from any other credential issuing system, as long as it's based on these standards, you can. And the Evercred system can later be used to issue other kinds of verifiable credentials to wallets outside of HPEC if we as a company so choose. And so I want to address a common question. People say, yeah, this sounds really revolutionary, but how are you going to get people, how are you going to get the states to take it? How are you going to get medical schools to take it? And I want to point out this slide that I captured from a September lecture given by the American Association of Medical Colleges. So Medbiquitous is their standards body. And this is a slide, and if you look, it's the exact same technology that they're promoting. And they actually later in the presentation said that they'd like this to be the standard by 2023. So we are ahead of the curve. We're ahead of the standards. We have the technology built. We have it ready to use. And I believe we have the potential to be a first mover in this market. And so what does this create for us as doctors? The HPEC wallet creates a way for us to collaborate and communicate with each other. Right now, our vertically integrated health systems or private equity-backed systems build out these referral networks that we kind of have to send our patients here. We have to send them there. We signed a contract. We have no say. Through the HPEC app, you're allowed to build your own referral network. And so we can collaborate and build independent practices if we so choose. And we can also get the better job that's better suited for us if we choose to be employed. And then we can also get our patients the right care at the right time, the right specialist for that, rare disease, et cetera, because we'll have a way to easily find each other and ping each other. And so this is the DAO, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And through our secure decentralized identity communication protocol, it's essentially HIPAA compliant, which is very unique. And so this is just a little roadmap of where we've been and where we're going. So as I mentioned, founded the company in 2019. And, I wanted this to be decentralized, not only in technology, but in ownership. And so we did a crowdfund, and we raised our initial capital mostly on a crowdfund from practicing physicians like us who want to build a better future. And then we designed, developed, and deployed the application this year. And so we're really excited to bring it to you today and to get you your invitation to come on board. The future, we hope to scale. We hope to be the leading decentralized identity for physician provider. We hope to capture a large percentage of the market. And we see a future where patients, when they're looking for a physician, rather than looking on one of these other, sites that scrapes our data and sells it and uses it without our consent, the physician, you will own your data, choose to have yourself presented so patients can find you and other doctors can find you, or choose to remain anonymous. It's your choice, because that's the power of decentralized identity. You own your right to move freely, to present your information, or to keep it private. And so our core features, we have the decentralized identity wallet. We have the ability for you to receive verifiable credentials that are based on these standards. But in the beginning, this is our beta version. We ask that you upload your credentials. We need to share these credentials anyway. So this is a place where you can securely store it and share it in the future as we start onboarding these credential issuing bodies to issue you your permanent verifiable credentials. So, again, your decentralized identity is completely owned by you. There's no third parties able to take your identity or turn it off or change how you're able to interact. You can port this to another decentralized identity system if you so choose. You would lose the social network and the communication layer at this point, though. And so once your medical license is verified by HPEC, you're allowed entrance into exclusive groups of only other licensed physicians in your state. And eventually we want to add the feature of specialties and then other more granular groups around different advocacy issues and things of that nature. And so I know you guys are here to see the app. So let's do that. I'm going to do it on my phone. So give me a moment. Let's see here. Here's my phone screen. If you look on the bottom right, you see the HPEC icon. When you open, you see my profile. Now, how did this profile get created? During the onboarding process, you go through, the basic stuff, your email, your phone, you accept the terms and conditions. And at that moment, your identity is created on the app and you create a secure enclave where you can store all of your data and all of your information. So this is very different than anything else out there. You then go through the process of a medical license upload because we need to verify that you're actually a doctor. And then also government ID verification. And we use a third-party system called Onfido to do that. So then you go through just education and specialty details and that auto-populates into this area. And then, your medical practice details, etc. Now, what's really interesting is that we essentially create a wallet of colleagues on the bottom. Physicians you may know, physicians you refer patients to, they refer patients to you, people you worked with clinically. And so how do these people get down here? Well, if you go down to the community aspect of the app, this is the groups area. If you go to the top right, you see colleagues. If you tap that, you see pending connections. So these are all people that I've asked to connect with. But if you look here, Dr. Aaron Fritz, who's an interventional radiologist, is asked to connect. And so we can look at his profile. And then when I connect with him, I can explain how I know him. Do I refer patients to him? Does he refer patients to me? Do I know them personally? I know him personally. He's actually the founder of the Back Table podcast, which we were on. So I'm going to connect with him. And now he's a connection. So when I look at his actual profile, if I want to find him, I can see that we now are able to message each other. And so this is very unique because there's a secure, decentralized identity communication protocol enabled here that is actually HIPAA compliant. We need to have a proper security audit in order for that to happen, but this is only between us. There's no third parties that can see these conversations, which is really something important, especially for us as physicians. So what else can I show you? So this is a complete identity solution. This is my professional identity. This is my credentials. So let's look at the Credential Wallet briefly. So this is my Credential Wallet. And right now, none of these are issued credentials. These are all uploaded by me. So for example, I have my medical degree. When I view it, you can see I went to Albany Medical College. I have the data schema here that if I share it in the future, if I want to sell it in the future, I can sell it and it comes along with this granular data. I hit the share button. I can share it with whomever I want. I can also in my wallet share all of my credentials in bulk, and I can upload new credentials if I want to. So that's a really different feature. Our credentials are the most valuable thing that we own. We went through, 11 to 18 years of training and hundreds of thousands of dollars of schooling to get. So what else? This is about our identity and our professionalism as doctors, our ability to work, to communicate with each other. So we can also invite our colleagues here. If we hit send an invitation, you'll get your phone contacts you can pull up, or you can just enter an email or phone number. And so for those of you who have onboarded early, you're going to be the first to get invitations. And so look out for the notifications around that. What else do we have that's unique in this application? So we have community groups. So right now we have 280 members in the general community group. So these are people that are not yet verified. They've uploaded their information and they've made some comments. But let's go into a group of verified physicians. So the top three groups, I have a license in Florida, California, and New York. And if you go into, for example, the California State License Group, you can see comments people have made. And if you notice, there's no moderator because this is a self-moderating forum. So what does that mean? It means that if, for example, I think that Dr. Hyder's comment is inauthentic or violation of some kind of rules, I can look at these different rules, read the guidelines, and decide. So for example, is she lying in that post? Is she impersonating somebody? And I can flag it. Now, what happens if I flag it? If I flag it, you can get an inbox message that says, hey, so-and-so number of people felt that this post was in violation of, the community standards for, authenticity. Do you agree or disagree? And so a randomly selected group of moderators will get to decide whether or not the individuals who flagged, if it was an appropriate flag. So this is a community moderated forum. The individual physicians on the network decide, and this is essentially voting in a democratic mechanism. So this is our first test for that system. This is our first trial to see if it works. And other things that we can do, if we hard press, we can not only say we like it, it's funny, it's exciting, it's informative, but we can say it's actionable. And if we press the actionable button, eventually, if N number of people find a post to be actionable, we can be automatically entered into a group of individuals who are able then to communicate around that actionable idea and make decisions together and vote in a democratic way. And so that's, just to let everybody know, we aim for this to be a fully, truly decentralized social network. At this point, it's still somewhat centralized. However, the protocol and the algorithms are the things that allow the community to govern itself. So what else do I want to show you? The inbox, as I mentioned, all these people I'm connected to, I have direct communication protocol with them. And yeah, this is all that we have. If you look here, I have 138 points because I've invited a lot of people who have onboarded. Once the moderation starts happening, once you moderate, you're going to be rewarded with points as well. And then you also get rewarded for posts that people find valuable. And so I just want to make it clear that HPEC is the only company that's doing physician-owned, controlled credentialing using decentralized identity in a truly self-sovereign way, where you have your wallet and you own your credentials. And we're the only one that's doing it while also creating community, while also giving physicians ownership over their right to interact with each other in a peer-to-peer verified fashion. This has never been done before. On physician search website with decentralized identity, you can, if you see here, it says profile visible to physicians only. Eventually, there's going to be an option to push this to a public website if you so choose. So we will no longer be bombarded with reviews from third-party systems that scrape our data and present us to the public without our knowledge and consent. This is a self-directed opportunity for us to own and control our right to present ourselves digitally in the future. And, the important thing is that when patients have a similar piece of technology, we might have an EHR button here on the bottom where we can go into an EHR system and connect directly with our patients. And through a decentralized EHR system, they can own their data. We can issue them credentials of their authentic data based on the records that we create about them. And they can take it with them and they can own their information. And this is one way, I believe, that we as physicians need to uphold the Hippocratic Oath. We need to empower our patients to have privacy and security. And that's one of the things that this does. We also have the ability to create a payments wallet in this area as well, if we choose to do that, and if we're able to raise the capital to do that. So I hope that this was exciting for you. I hope you guys decide to onboard. If you want to take a moment, what's the most valuable thing that you noticed about it? What's something that really excited you? What's something that you wish you saw? Take a moment to put your initial impressions, down in the chats and the comments. I'm going to take a quick look as people are chatting in. Okay. Well, please think of things, maybe you guys, I don't want you guys to be shy in front of others, but I do want to hear feedback. There's been a couple of times since the launch where our very first users have pointed something out to me that I didn't know and that we pretty rapidly fixed. So this is a very early beta version. There's a lot of things it does, but then there also might be some glitches here and there as well. So I want to hear about all of it, the good, the bad, the exciting, the not exciting, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, so organizations can have decentralized identifiers. So through the Evercred system, actually, we have a pilot project with an academic residency program in Oklahoma right now. And so that residency program is spinning up a decentralized identity using the Evercred system to issue credentials to their graduating class next year. And so, yes, it can be attached to the FHIR protocol and all of those things. And so, I just want to remind everyone that this is right now a physician-only app, but I am curious to know who's in the audience. Are you physicians? Are you attendings? What specialty are you in? Where are you located in the world? Are you medical students? Are you residents? Are you patients? Are you just curious, interested people? Are you potentially interested in investing in this? Because we are opening up another fundraising round. So, I want everyone to know that we want you all to onboard. We're really grateful to have you here. All you need to do is sign in to the website, and you should be getting your invite within 7 to 10 days. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks, but we're building this for us, for our future. We're building a piece of technology that was designed with us in mind and our needs in mind, and I'm really excited to have you guys be some of the first people to use it and to be a part of it. And so I did want to mention that we are going to be opening up another fundraising round. Technology development is expensive. And so we need to raise more capital to take this to the next level. And so, I just want to remind everyone, over 400 doctors have already put their money towards this. Some put smaller amounts, some put over $10,000, and some, even people who were fired and furloughed during the pandemic, some of them invested. And that just goes to show how much people want a solution for our future. So if you're an investor in this already and you want to share in the chat, if you're here, please, let us know, put a comment in the chat. And we would like to potentially do another crowdfunding opportunity, but we need to do it only with people who have onboarded onto the app. And so we need to have at least 1,000, but preferably a few thousand people on the app. And then we can do the crowdfunding through our application. We also have the ability to do an ICO. And again, our earliest users are going to have access to that first. And so if you're able to invest in this next round, we're doing a regular fundraising round with a minimum investment of $25,000. But if we do a crowdfund, the only way to know about it is to become a part of our community and to stay engaged. And so thank you for being here, everyone. I want to double check the Q&A and see if there's anything that I missed. Just to remind you, if you want to be a part of the future decentralized healthcare ecosystem, all you have to do is onboard onto the app. All you have to do is invite your colleagues and be a part of it. Don't forget to sign up on the website. And again, I think Peter's going to send some links to the onboarding process for those of you who want to see how that process works. In the very beginning of this, I talked about why I'm here, why I'm doing this. I'm doing it for us, for our future, for our patients. I'm here to fix the healthcare system, to restore privacy and trust to the practice of medicine. And now we're here, and thank you. And now I'm just asking you to help me build this system. Help me restore privacy and trust to the practice of medicine. Help me build the future of healthcare. Thank you.